Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today's topic will be naval combat in the Total War Warhammer series and how it could potentially be implemented. So without further ado, let's begin. The topic of naval combat in the Total War Warhammer series has popped up on the forums and other various sources of social media every now and again. Normally this is met with varying responses, some in favour of seeing naval combat into the Total War Warhammer series, given that a large portion of the Warhammer fantasy world, especially in the Mortal Empires campaign, is ocean-based. And if people's speculation regarding the mega campaign in Total War Warhammer 3 is to be believed, that it might feature close to, if not all of the Warhammer fantasy world, it would add many more large bodies of water, which would get rather boring if it's only in the island battle system. Many players, including myself, while very appreciative that we've had the island battle system implemented and are no longer forced to auto-resolve and potentially lose our armies, we still want to see naval combat implemented into the series, mainly because it's just a big part of Warhammer Fantasy. While not so prevalent in Warhammer Fantasy Battles itself, it did have its own games featured around naval combat in the fantasy universe, such as Man of War and Dreadfleet. That being added with a bunch of lore already established about various sea battles, unique types of ships and so on, many people want to see this being implemented in the Total War series. Now I also completely understand as to why people don't want to see naval combat in Total War Warhammer. Most of the battles known in lore are known for land, your generals or your special units and so on are known for land battles instead of being able to fight on the ocean. That and previous titles have had some issues with naval combat in the past where it's been described as clunky at best. Don't get me wrong, I've played these previous titles and I'm aware that they had some previous issues. However, we have to take into account that it's been a decent amount of time and Creative Assembly has improved as a company since then. If they hadn't, they wouldn't have been able to tackle such big projects such as Warhammer Fantasy itself or Three Kingdoms, among other projects. Now, we are aware that Creative Assembly are at least considering bringing naval combat into Total War Warhammer. We know this because in the last Reddit Ask Me Anything, they did state that they are aware how much fans do want this and we never know what could happen in the future. We covered this after the release of the Ask Me Anything, and since then we've been theory crafting on the best possible way that naval combat could be implemented into the Total War Warhammer series, whilst trying to keep both sides of the argument happy. No simple feat, and it's taken us about a month, but maybe we've come onto something that might work for everyone. Obviously, please remember that this is purely speculation, but we believe that this might work. Firstly, naval combat should only be implemented when any and all potential race packs have been added into the Total War Warhammer series at the end of the third game. As soon as every single possible race of the Total War Warhammer series that Creative Assembly and Games Workshop are willing to implement have been implemented, then and only then should naval combat be placed into the series. The reason for this is rather simple. Naval combat wouldn't be implemented in the form of various different Lord packs or DLC packs, because at the end of the day, you'd only be able to get a few races in each time. So instead, what I'm proposing here is an expansion-sized DLC pack, which would only activate if you've purchased it. Unlike other various DLC packs where if you haven't purchased it, you'll still see the units and the lords and so on, naval combat would only be activated if you've purchased the DLC. This would give the option for players who actively want to avoid naval combat to not purchase the DLC and not have to deal with it. It literally would not affect these players in any way, shape or form. In an effort to be fair, this could also not come with any achievements tied to it, just so any completionists will not feel forced to purchase the DLC in order to get the achievements. I believe this is a simple way for both sides of the argument to be happy with it. After all major race packs have been included and we know that no more races are going to be implemented into the series, a major pack such as this could potentially drive up sales. At that point, people who were originally against naval combat might be willing to try it out, as they would be aware that no new races would be implemented, so this could be a new change of system for them to give them something fresh and new. Barring any new possible Lord packs that will come out. Yeah, the Lord packs are different, but they're not as different as a new race that completely changes how you play the game. Naturally, if it's the case that you don't want to play naval combat after you've purchased it, you could easily just uninstall it and you won't have to be faced with the issue. I think that's something that Creative Assembly can do without a problem. Now, we do have to talk about the potential price for a DLC of this size. It would probably be about the same as a race pack, maybe even more. We have to take into consideration the amount of races already implemented into the Total War Warhammer series, but also the races that may be implemented in the future, such as Kislev, the Chaos Demons, Ogres, and so on. All of these unique races would require unique assets too. Every different race in the Total War Warhammer world would have very different looking ships. obviously they'd also function differently too. So with that, we look towards the race pack prices, which are normally around 19 euros, the way I see it on Steam. Obviously prices may vary for you guys considering what regions you guys are from and so on. But I suspect the price would more or less be the same, or maybe a bit higher, around 25 euro more or less. Remember, this is a proposed expansion-sized DLC. It's potentially adding in naval armies for every single race in the Total War Warhammer series, and it's a new form of combat system that needs to be perfected or close to perfection. And you really wouldn't need to buy it if you don't want to or cannot justify it, and just buy it during a sale if that's the case. Now, we're not going to go too heavy on the possible units because I'm going to go heavy on this on a large video that's going to be around 20 to 30 minutes long in the future, mainly because I need to go back into the lore and do some research. But whilst we're already here, it's important to note that a lot of these races, including the Chaos Dwarves, already had units in terms of ships. There's a lot of concept art out there and so on. If we look towards Manowar and its expansion, there was already different ships for a multitude of races. Now, I'm not 100% sure as to how many races had ships and so on. I need to go back because it's been a while since I've played it. Just a quick note here, I'm referring to Manowar the tabletop game, not Manowar the PC game. Obviously they wouldn't be able to take the concept from that. But as far as I remember, there are various races which already had the concept art and models, such as the Empire, the Greenskins, the Dark Elves, the Skaven, I believe, the Chaos Dwarves did in the expansion pack, among a few others. So it's not like they don't have a strong basis to already start on, and considering the fact that the vampire counts themselves were built up from scratch, or close to scratch, there is a possibility that this can happen. If we look at it this way, there's usually around 5 to 6 different unique ships for each different race, with maybe a certain amount of unique ships for certain legendary lords such as Wulfric the Wanderer, because, well, it just makes sense, doesn't it? As explained in a previous video, it doesn't just have to be ships that feature in this naval combat. Instead, they could also update those flying units already available, such as manticores, dragons, and so on, to be used in the same naval combat battles. That way you could have the dragons, manticores and so on flying over the ships in the same battlefield, well, ocean, and use them in these battles where they'll be able to strike with any ranged weapons they may have or land directly on top of the ships and start killing the crew. Naturally, they would also have to make unique battlefield maps, so the price would also be a bit higher than standard. I mean, it's not going to be just complete ocean, there'll probably be rock formations and all these different types of things, because if it was just open plain water, wouldn't that just be kind of boring? So I honestly believe a price range of around 25 euros would be quite decent, especially if every single race is going to get new complete assets and technically new armies. Well, navies to be more specific, but you guys know what I mean. But this is what I believe is the perfect way to implement naval battles into the Total War Warhammer series. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You guys might have other ideas which might be better than mine, so I'd like to see what you guys have an idea of. Creative Assembly are actively keeping eyes out in regards to naval combat and so on, so naturally it's my suspicion that the more that it's being talked about, the likelier the chance that we'll see it implemented into the series. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below, we have various different social media links such as Facebook, Instagram and Discord, where you can get in contact with the Great Book team, talk to us about Total War, Warhammer, or just anything really. Also in the description section below is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could get loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Purchasing using this link and also using our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons, your support means the world to us. Honestly, it's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A special thank you to our patrons Gibraltar LUSC and Ryan Bertsche for subscribing to us at our fame level. Honestly, you guys are super cool. And a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing and commenting on these videos. Honestly, the channel's been growing a lot lately and it's all thanks to you guys. Without you, the Great Book would be nothing. We're trying to implement more videos into the channel soon, but we're getting stuff done outside of YouTube at the moment, just like artwork and so on for the channel. It's just taking a little while to get everything to look to a standard that we feel is cool. Honestly guys, thank you so much for all the support lately, it's been amazing. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.